All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Winnebago County Board meeting. Tonight is Thursday, March 14th, 2024. Tonight's invocation and pledge allegiance is by Board Member Kevin McCarthy. Please stand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for having us here on this Thursday evening as we come together and making various decisions affecting our communities. Let's please be sure, dear Lord, that you're watching over all of our first responders, police, fire, and those that are protecting us throughout the front lines and right here through our Winnebago County and through the city of Rockford, and of course, all of the villages and municipalities. We say this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Father McCarthy. All right, Mr. Thompson, are there any agenda announcements this evening?
No announcements this evening, thank you.
Thank you. Clerk Gummow, can you please call the roll?
Certainly. Thank you, Chairman. We will start with Mr. Lindmark. Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Neighbors.
Here.
Mr. Penny. Mr. Salgado.
Present.
Mr. Scroll. Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Tassoni. Mr. Thompson.
Here.
Mr. Webster. Mr. Arena. Mr. Booker. Mr. Butita. Mrs. Crosby. Ms. Fellers.
Present.
Mrs. Gorel.
Present.
Mr. Guevara. Ms. Hansert. Mr. Hoffman.
Present.
Chairman, that is 17 board members present, 3 board members absent.
Very good, thank you. We do not have any awards, presentations, public hearings, or public participation this evening. I just have one request. The board could allocate some dollars for a new chairman's chair up here. It's like falling forward. Thank you. Anyway, if we move on to approval of the minutes, can I entertain a motion to approve the February 8th and lay over the February 22nd minutes? We got a motion by Ms. Crosby, second by Mr. Webster. Is there any discussion on the approval or the layover of the minutes? Hearing none, are there any board members opposed? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Next is the consent agenda. May I entertain a motion to approve the raffle report and the auditor's report. We have a motion by Mr. Hoffman and a second by Mr. Thompson. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? All right, hearing none, is there any board members opposed to the raffle report or the auditor's report? Very good. Please cast yes for all members present. There are no appointments to be read in this evening, except for one.
Yes, thank you.
Yep. We have the Animal Services Administrator, which is one of our own departments, and it's for Ms. Jennifer Stacy. Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules on her nomination tonight.
We have a motion to suspend the rules for approval, and we have a second. Is there what we don't discuss?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to introduce Jennifer Stacy as the appointment for the Administrator for Animal Services. Jennifer has been with the department for 25 years in April. She started off as an officer and worked her way up through the department, has served in various leadership roles. Most recently has served as the interim administrator for about the last 6 months since Brett left, and Jennifer is doing an excellent job as the administrator, and we're lucky to have her in the department, and it's always good to promote from within when we can. In this case, we have a excellent candidate for the position, and I would ask for your support from the board.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. So, are there any board members opposed to the suspension of rules? So we'll get that on the floor. All right, hearing none, please cast a yes for all members present. The rules are suspended. Mr. Sweeney?
I'll make a motion for her approval.
Motion by Mr. Sweeney and second by, oh, excuse me.
Need some water?
Second by Ms. Fellers. Okay. Discussion? Mr. Booker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, yourself, sir. Deep breath. I had the pleasure of working when I was on the Sheriff's Department, several calls and various cases with Jennifer Stacy, and she always exuded professionalism and integrity. And she knows the place backwards, forwards, and blindfolded. So again, like Patrick commented, that it's always good to promote from within. So I'm glad to see Jennifer's there. Good to have you there, Jennifer. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Mr. Webster.
I just say that I too am happy to see us promote from within. We're on a roll here lately, pointing from within, fourth floor, a couple of times. Oh, Jennifer, well, so I think it's good that we, whenever we can, keep it internal. Thank you.
No. Thank you, Mr. Webster. Is there any other discussion? No? Are there any board members opposed to the appointment of Miss Jennifer Stacy? Hearing none, please cast a yes for all members present. Okay, we'll move on to reports. Mr. Penny.
I'd request you take a 10-minute break.
Mr. Penny needs a break?
I would like to give you a break.
Oh, okay.
I'd request a 10-minute break.
Thank you. Yep, thank you. Penny and a second by Mr. Webster. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're back in session. Thank you. Going on to reports of standing committees, we've got the Finance Committee by Mr. Butita.
There's no report by finance this evening, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Butita. We have a Zoning Committee, Mr. Webster.
Okay, your zoning board, your zoning committee, I'm sorry, has the one item on the agenda. This was read in at our prior meeting. So it's up for a vote tonight, and that is Z0124. That's a map amendment. So I would make a motion for approval.
We have a motion by Mr. Webster to approve. Is there a second? Mr. Booker seconds that motion. Discussion, Mr. Webster?
Not on my part. Thank you.
Okay. Is there any board member discussion on this map amendment? No, we're hearing. Mr. McCarthy? I haven't called the vote yet. Okay. So, are there any board members opposed? Mr. McCarthy, Mr. Penny? Anyone else? Please cast a yes for all other members present. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. And the next zoning board of appeals meeting is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024. And the next zoning committee meeting is Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Webster. So we got Economic Development Committee, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no report tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Keith McDonald, Operations Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have two items this evening. The first is a resolution awarding purchase of patrol vehicles for Sheriff's Office using CIP 2024 funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. McDonald, second by Mr. Hoffman and Mr. Lindmark. Is there any discussion, Mr. McDonald?
Not for me, sir.
Is there any board member discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, are there any board members opposed to this resolution? Very good. Please cast a yes for all board members. Mr. McDonald?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next item is a resolution awarding purchase of portable radios for Coroner's Office using CIP 2024 funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. McDonald, second by Mr. McCarthy. Is there any board member discussion or chair discussion?
Not for me. Thank you, sir.
Board member discussion? Hearing none, please cast a yes for all members
I'm a
present.
no vote, sir.
A no for Mr. McDonald. Mr. McDonald?
That concludes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald. Okay, we're going to move on to the Public Works Committee. Mr. Tassoni?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no report. Our next scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, the 19th.
Thank you, Mr. Tassoni. Public Safety and Judiciary Committee, Mr. Lindmark?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Lindmark. Legislative Lobbying Committee, Mr. Salgado?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Legislative Lobby Committee has one resolution this evening. Resolution in support of the Regional Office of Education, Boone, Winnebago Counties, alternative education programs for K through 5 grade students, and I so move.
Okay, Mr. Salgado motions to approve. Is there a second by Mr. Sweeney? Is there any discussion, Mr. Neighbors? Oh, okay. Mr. Neighbors seconds also.
Yeah, Mr. Sweeney, I don't know if you want to just give a brief summary, and since...
Sure. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The intent of this resolution is to give backing to the Regional Office of Education's efforts to implement the K through 5 alternative education program, and thought it might be fitting for this board and thus this government to weigh in on that, since the ROE is a line item on our budget. We're linked in that way, and just trying to give them a little extra political backing as they go to talk with our legislators down in Springfield and hopefully get that program implemented here in our community, because it'll be a good thing for some of the most vulnerable children that we have in, not just Thryford School District, but the entire county area. So that's the intent of the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney.
Yeah, and just I'd like to acknowledge Scott in the background.
Mr.
the-
Bloomquist? you can
Ms.
stand.
Bloomquist out there, so in support of this. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. Is there any other discussion on this resolution? Okay, is there any board members opposed to this resolution? Very good, please cast yes for all members present.
And that
So-
concludes our report.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we're going to move on to unfinished business. We have appointments that were read in on January 25th, 2024. First is the Winnebago County Sheriff's Merit Commission. Annual compensation is $55 per meeting, not to exceed $600 per year. Michael Purin, that's a reappointment. We have Michael Tully, that reappointment. Ryan Fritz is a reappointment. Those are for 6-year terms, from December 2020 to December 2026. And the next is Winnebago County Liquor Commission. That's Mr. McCarthy is a reappointment. And Mr. Thompson is a reappointment. Those are till January 2025. Then we have Cherry Valley Fire Protection District. That's the annual compensation of $4,500. And that is for Mr. Steve Schwartz, and that is a new appointment to fulfill the remainder of a 3-year term, which ends in May of 2024. You want me to go through the rest of them? Okay. The next set are the appointments read in on February 8th, 2024. That is for the Winnebago County Administrative Hearing Officer, Kimberly Cavanda. Next is the Harlem Roscoe Fire Protection District. That is, annual compensation is not to exceed $1,500 per year, plus 50% if the ambulance service is needed. Next is, the name is El Bach. It's a reappointment until May of 2027. The next is Winber Sioux Fire Protection District. That annual compensation is not to exceed $1,500 per year, plus 50% if ambulance service is needed. That's for Mike Marsh. That is a new appointment. That will expire in May of 2026. Is there a motion?
Make a motion for all. Make a motion for all.
So we have a motion by Mr. Webster and Mr. Penny for all of those names I read in. Is there a second? Ms. Crosby seconds that motion. Is there any discussion on these appointments that we've read in? All right, hearing none. Can you please cast a yes for all members present, Ms. Clerk? All right, thank you. The next is new business. Is there any new business in front of the board this evening? Announcements, communications, Ms. Clerk Gummow.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a reminder that Tuesday, the 19th, is Election Day. You can still vote early, and you can vote in person on Election Day. If you have any questions, please be sure to contact the Elections Office. In addition, all the items listed below were received as correspondence. Thank you, Chairman.
Is there any board member announcements or communications? Just want to acknowledge Captain Shahid Nasir is in the audience. He was going to give the invocation. So if you want to just stand. If you want to say a closing prayer. Thank you. Mr. Webster? Motion's to approve, second by Mr. Penny. All in favor, say aye. Aye, or opposed.